What is up, everybody? Welcome to AK Plays. I'm AK. Let's play. Alright, everybody, so today I'm going to be showing you guys one of the most underrated talents, character talents, in update 1.8.3. Now, character talents are these ones, the ones that go on each of your builds. Now, the one I'm speaking about is Steady Hands. Now, everybody kind of knows Steady Hands exists, but not a ton of people use it because they use other things. And Steady Hands takes away recoil, and I've used it for a long time on my Deadeye build, which you see here. And it does really well when I use it for the heal when I turn around with the Tac Link and use the crazy rate of fire. You can see I still have it procced. Now, I'll show you more in depth what it does. This is an up-close test. I'm shooting on the left side right now with no Steady Hands. Now I take cover, get off cover, and I use the Steady Hands. You can see that it is a laser beam. Now, I'll talk about why this is important after I kind of show you the tests, but you can see that at close range, there's not a huge difference, but it's noticeable. And now at distance, it becomes much more apparent. Now, granted, I'm not the greatest with the LVOAC, I'm more comfortable with the lightweight M4. You can see that it's pretty everywhere by the end of the magazine. The beginning's pretty accurate, but it starts to kind of spray by the end. Now, with the Steady Hands, you can see that it is a beam all the way through, and it looks really good. Now I'll show you the results when we go up to it. But essentially what it does is it's 25% less recoil, which I believe translates to stability. And it really works. It does actually do its job. Here's another one with Deadeye. This one's not with the heal, this is with my bolt action. And basically, throughout the rest of the clips in the video, I'm going to be using Steady Hands. I believe this clip is Deadeye, and then the rest are going to be when I'm using my Banshee. And either way, Steady Hands is really, really powerful. Now, on the sniper builds, it makes sense and it's kind of a no-brainer. You want to have as low recoil as possible to make sure you can hit those very accurate shots, and to, if you're using a semi-auto sniper, spam the shots without having them kick like crazy. But the one where I think it's much more important and underrated is with DPS builds like a Banshee. Now, in 1.8.2, everybody used Striker. We all know that. That's no surprise. But people were beaming like crazy with their lightweight M4s, using Striker and shooting people like crazy, and it helped add distance, and they were accurate with the stability that's native on the Striker gear set. But now that Striker's been nerfed, a lot of players are still trying to beam with their lightweights. And of course they can do it. They find ways to get some stability, and yes, I know for PC players and for really elite players, you probably don't need a ton of stability, but every little bit helps, right? I mean, you can't deny that. And it definitely does. Now, on my Banshee, I only have a little bit of stability, and it comes on the backpack. And because I run it as a team build, I don't really have any need for some of those talents that you would usually have on a build like this. For me, Adrenaline is the one that I'm sacrificing. And Adrenaline's great. It's one of the most powerful talents right now because it's such a good pred counter. But in a team setting, if I have a Reclaimer or a good healer, I don't really worry as much, and so I'm fine sacrificing my Adrenaline for Steady Hands. Now, I'm not saying that it has to be Adrenaline, but for me that's just the one that I chose because at the time we had healers, and I think specifically a Reclaimer, and so I felt fine sacrificing that. And then, of course, I've been using it a lot recently just because I kind of liked how it worked with the lightweight M4 or the LVOA. Now, it's really fun. I think getting 25% stability just by taking cover and hopping off cover is quite worthwhile. It's a very powerful talent that not a lot of people use. And I think that it kind of fell into obscurity when everybody kind of got used to using their Strikers and not caring about Steady Hands. Back in the day, it didn't see a ton of use. I knew some people ran it, and I knew some people kind of did it for gimmicky builds, like where they went with a ton of stability and they ran stable, and then they would take cover, and it would look like you were playing Call of Duty. It was so accurate. But I haven't seen it used as a really good talent in a long time, and I don't think it's ever been used in that way. Now, I think that it actually has huge potential, and especially for beaming builds, if you don't want to sacrifice getting stability on the grip, or sacrifice stability on the backpack, or any of those different routes, you may want to try to get stability this way. And it honestly worked pretty well. I went from having very little stability on my Banshee to using this steady hands, and now all of a sudden I can beam people like I'm using Striker in 1.8.2. Now, I know there's plenty of people that need less stability or more stability to beam, and whatever your flavor is, you're going to have to adjust to it. If you feel like you need a little bit more, then maybe you'll have some on the backpack, on your grip, and use steady hands. If you feel like you don't need that much, maybe you just run steady hands and you can actually run health on your backpack or something of that nature. Maybe crit hit damage or something like that. I know a lot of people like running that. But it's kind of interesting, and maybe you use it, maybe you don't. Maybe you think, yeah, that's a good idea in theory, and maybe you think, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. Either way, it's just something to think about. I kind of had forgotten about steady hands and realized that, you know, it actually is kind of powerful, and so I've been using it a little bit more. But either way, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of these clips. It is the Team Banshee, and I'm using steady hands, and it works pretty well. You can see that it gets some really good beams occasionally. But I'll stop talking and let you guys enjoy, and if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, and I will catch you tomorrow.
If you want to clear your manhunt, reach the coordinates I'm sending you.
Can't you even aim right?